This video is filmed on an $85 Android phone. No camera, no external mic, and definitely no iPhones allowed. Most creators tell us the same thing. Use the phone that you have. But most creators have an iPhone. So what do you do if you don't have an iPhone? Can you still create content for YouTube? In this video, I'm going to show you my exact phone setup, as well as 3 things I do to get cleaner shots and how I actually film my content. So I'm currently filming on my Infinix Smart 7 and it runs on version 12. It has a 13 megapixel rear camera and then it has like a 5 megapixel front facing camera. And in this video, I'm going to be using both to record, so you can tell me your difference. But basically, that's it. That's the entire setup. So in order for me to get some really clean shots, there are a few things that I need to do. Number 1, camera settings. When it comes to camera settings, I want to keep it really simple. I don't use any fancy camera settings or anything like that. I usually like to film or record on the highest resolution. So the highest resolution that my phone can go at currently is 1080p and I recorded 30 frames per second. In my earlier videos, I used to record on 720p, but now I do 1080 and the highest frames per second would be 30 on this phone. There's nothing like 60 frames per second. So I do it at the highest resolution and at the highest frames per second. And I really think that's more than enough for YouTube. Just keep in mind that higher resolution means that it's going to be a bigger file size, which means that it's going to require more storage. So you really want to know how much storage your phone can actually hold and be really intentional with what you actually film. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in the video. The first thing I do before I film any of my content is definitely clean the lens. This is a non-negotiable. A dirty lens will ruin your footage faster than a bad camera. Trust and believe that one. The third and most important part of my setup would definitely be lighting. We don't play with our lighting. Right now I film during the day and usually close to a window. My drafting table is actually near the window, my sewing table is near the window, my computer table is near the window, and then I also have shade curtains that allows the light to stream in. And then most recently I added artificial lighting to my studio. So the bulbs that I bought 2 LED bulbs at 65 Kelvin, I believe it is, so that's like bright as day, and that really helps not only with the sewing that I have to do at night, but also too when it comes to recording. And I paid like $35 for it. So it's not fancy, it's not expensive, it's not complicated. I do want to say, so if it is you have the opportunity wherever you're filming, if there's windows, you want to make sure that you're filming close to the window so that the light can stream and really hit you and, you know, brighten up that footage. If you're filming in a room that actually has absolutely no windows, then you want to go for something like artificial lighting that's like bright as daylight. And also too, if it is you can do that as well as like add like mood lighting, so you have like beautiful, you know, lamps like to the back on one side here, or you have lamps on the other side to really help your footage look better. So despite the fact that you may not have a great camera on your phone, you can still supplement that with really good lighting. That's going to really help with the filming process. You heard that? Let's talk about audio. I don't have an external microphone, which means that I have to use the microphone on my phone. Now, I would love to have an external microphone, but right now at this juncture in my life, we can't afford an external microphone. So we gotta use what we have, right? I must say though, if you can afford an external mic, go off sis. Have fun. So how do I go about trying to actually get my audio as crisp as possible? Well, the first thing I do is focus on how I record. So I would film in a quiet space. My apartment is generally quiet, except for the occasional refrigerator that loves to let me know that he is working. Calvin is the greatest. Yes, I named my refrigerator. His name is Calvin, and he loves to let me know, hey, we are working today. So that's the only thing that usually makes noise in this apartment. Other than that, the room is generally quiet wherever I'm filming, and so I try to make sure that I'm filming in a quiet space. Even if there's like activity taking place outside, I really try to wait. So sometimes persons would have to like go to work or they have to like go to school, and there's a lot of activity between certain hours of the day. Those are the times that I would wait and just, you know, do other things, get set up, if it means taking a bath or whatever, and then when the place is really quiet, then I start filming. Another thing that I really like to do is stay close to the phone mic. So I would sit or stand upright to allow my vocal cords to just project onto the mic to make sure that we are getting a clearer audio. I try to talk slower because I don't usually talk slow. So I try to talk slower and clearer so that the audio can actually pick up the words and the syllables and everything and make the audio much clearer. And another thing that I don't do would be talking during sewing, unless it's very intentional, like if I'm doing a tutorial and I'm showing persons how to get things done with sewing. But other than that, my machines are usually turned off when I'm in the recording process, or they're usually on pause while I actually talk to you. A great tip that I can talk about in another video in order to make my audio even more clearer is using an editing software to really clean up whatever else you're hearing. All in all, I think if you're waiting to buy a mic in order to start your channel and that's the only thing that's holding you back, don't let that hold you back. Use what you have, learn it, and make it work for you. Okay, let's move on to the third thing, how I actually film my shots. Let's start with short form content. I use this cup. Basically, I would take my device, this cup as full as it is right now, I would not empty this. I would take my device and I would just simply place it in the cup and then position it and angle it wherever I need. If you've seen my day in the life videos or you've seen close-up shots of me sewing on the sewing machine, I use this cup. Anything that needs like macro or tight shots, I use this cup. Also, if I want to film distant content, so some of my day in the life videos, you actually can see the content from afar so that I can like walk into the clip. This was the cup that I used. I honestly cannot take any credit for this idea. I'm gonna insert the person who I saw on Instagram showing us how to like get macro shots of our sewing by using a cup. So I'm gonna insert his name somewhere on the screen, but the inspiration came from there. This cup, game changer. The next thing I use is my UV size tripod. I love my UV size tripod. I currently don't have the tripod at this moment, but I'll put a link to what it looks like and I'll put a link in the description if you want to go and check it out as well. Honestly, this tripod was probably the best decision I've ever made when it came to buying something for the business. I bought it about 4 years ago, I think, 4 or 5 years ago, and it works exceptional. There's so much gear that comes with this tripod for the price point. I am in love with it. The beautiful thing about it is that I can record short form content and long form content on this tripod. So if you're looking for a reasonable tripod and you can't really think about anything, something that's budget friendly, trust and believe, UV size is what you need. For my long form content, I use a series of tripods. So we have this one here that's on the screen. This is my standing tripod that I use for taking wide shots. It's the tripod I'm currently using to film this video as well. It's sturdy, it's safe, and so I feel very confident when I'm using this tripod. The next tripod I use would be my UV size, which is totally multifunctional. I can get close-up shots, I can get faraway shots, I can get up, down, top shots, whatever kind of shots I want. I can use that tripod to get that as well. We have this tripod, which is a selfie stick actually, with an extension. So it opens like this. You can like literally insert your phone right here. Give me a sec. Take your phone, take your device, and literally just pull, snap. You can get long form content. You can get long form content like landscape content, and then you can get portrait content as well too. Whichever kind of content you want diagonal content, you can get that if you want. Works well, and then it's extendable. And we have a pop-off button here that we can use as well to do like Bluetooth. And it came with legs, but it broke. So usually I would take this and I would like put it on my table and I would record content on the table. Yeah, we can't do that anymore. So now basically I use it to record like front-facing content and like talking and stuff like that. This comes in really handy for that. And then the other day I also borrowed my best friend tripod that came with a webcam. Works splendid. It's very small and very sturdy, but you can both get like long form content like landscape shots, and then you can get like portrait shots from that as well too. So we have a series of tripods. Now, if you ain't got no tripod, what can you do? Literally don't let anything stop you from recording content. Take your phone, prop it up. The beginning of this video, my phone was actually propped up to my computer. Like, computer, phone, voila, record the content. Take your phone, Prop your phone anywhere against any, surface, landscape, record the content. So now we know how to go about recording with a tripod, without a tripod. We need to make our shots a little bit more interesting. How do we do that? Sometimes I would record from my computer desk like this. Then I would record from my couch like this. Then I can record from my drafting table like this. Sometimes I can also record from my kitchen, and if you can hear that external noise, that's my baby Kelvin making all the noise in the world. Other times I usually like to prop my phone up anywhere. I would prop it up on the sewing machine and I would put on the front facing camera and I would just start recording because hey, it's a new angle. But I really like experimenting with different angles in the studio. Sometimes right around my drafting table, I would record from the front, from the side, from the back, from the top, different angles of the same area, just to give it a little bit more pizzazz and make the video a little bit more interesting. So I think a tip that we can take away from this portion of the video is that you don't need fancy equipment. You just need to look at your space a little different. Okay, so now we're back to our computer desk. And we're here to talk about filming smart. Not hard, we're gonna be filming smart. So if I'm doing like a really long clip, what I like to do is time lapse. So the phone actually has a time lapse feature that I would like to use, especially when you're doing long repetitive tasks. Time lapse keeps the video moving. It also saves on storage. And honestly, you do not need to watch me for the next 20 minutes doing the same thing over and over and over. Besides time lapse, what I like to do as well too is probably like film the beginning of it, then film the middle of doing the project, and then film the end. And that way you can tell that I was doing the project. And then I also too don't record for long periods of time. So for like vertical content, I would record like 3-second clip of my day. A lot of my day in the life videos are 3-second clips of what happened throughout the entire day. For long form content or for landscape content, I like to film between 60 seconds to 120 seconds, so like a minute to 2 minutes of content. Sometimes I film like 5 minutes of content, sometimes 30 minutes of content, when I get really into what I'm doing and then I forgot, oh, I'm recording, and then I have to deal with that later in the editing phase. But I really try to keep my clips as short as possible because shorter clips are much easier to edit, they are much easier to store, they take up much less space, and they are much easier to stay consistent with. So I think the tip that I'm going to put here is that always film with editing in mind. You want to make sure that you're doing that, because at the end of the day, when I have to like download the information after I'm done filming it, because it backs up to my storage, when I have to download that information and it's like these big amounts of videos, like long videos that just absolutely nothing is really taking place, it's very frustrating. So always film with editing in mind. And last but not least, let's talk about scripting. I've never scripted any of my videos until this one. This is the first video I've ever scripted in my entire life. Does it show? I think it shows. Does it show? So what I do want to learn or do going forward is try to script most of my videos, even if it's light scripting. I want to at least have an idea of where the video is going. This certainly is going to make the video more intentional. It's going to make it clearer for you, the viewer, and also too, it's going to help me to stick to the points that I need to stick to, because whoo, this girl, she can speak a lot, so we need to stick to the points. So honestly, if you've been waiting on the right camera, the right mic, the right situation, this is your permission. Jewel is giving you permission. Just create with what you have. This is your sign. Because if I can do it on an $85 Android phone with a noisy refrigerator and no external mic, baby, you can do it too. You can do it too. If you're interested in seeing how I edit this video as well as other videos on this phone and on my computer, give this video a thumbs up. If this video gets to 50 likes, I'll do a part 2 and I'll show you my editing process. Again, no fancy gear and certainly no paid editing software. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. It's like